All right, it's the end of an era. We're getting very zen here. We're in the zen zone. Einstein and John Lennon are gone. And we are almost gone to the islands. We're on lesson 104 of A Course in Miracles, the workbook. All things change. The course remains the same. Don't forget, the course is also an illusion, but it is the one illusion that can free you from all other illusions. So lesson 104, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And let's go over what some of the recent lessons have been. Lesson 100, my part is essential to God's plan for salvation. Lesson 101, God's will for me is perfect happiness. Lesson 102, I share God's will for happiness for me. Lesson 103, God being love is also happiness. And then today, I seek but what belongs to me in truth. And the truth came in at the end of yesterday's lesson where it says, I cannot fail because I seek the truth. And the full thing at the bottom of lesson 103 was, God being love is also happiness, and it is happiness I seek today. I cannot fail because I seek the truth. So God is the truth, God is happiness. God being love, and love with a capital L, God being love is also happiness. Now, you might ask, why doesn't it say God being love with a capital L is also happiness with a capital H? Right? Why wouldn't that H be capitalized? Well, you could say it could have been, right? It could have been capitalized. But it doesn't really matter. Don't get too caught up in the words or the form. But I think this whole idea that God is love, right? God is happiness. Because even if you say God is love, you might still think, well, in this world, there's tough love, right? What is tough love? Tough love is where you say to your, you say to your friend or whoever it is that you're dealing with, well, I love you, but, I can't do this. Or I love you, but, you're a shithead. or some kind of some version of tough love. Gary Renard had a funny thing in one of his books. Your shithead brother in Christ, right? Let me have it after, okay? Thank you. My wife just brought me a drink. Your shithead brother in Christ. Even your brothers that are followers of Christ, you might have issues with, right? But why do you need the tough love? That's an issue. We'll come back to that. But what I'm trying to get at here is that there is no cruelty in God, as one of the lessons says. God does not judge. God is only love, perfect love, right? Perfect love means that it's a oneness beyond what anything we can fathom, because this world is a world of opposites, this world is a world of duality. But it seems that what the Course is getting at is that God's realm is a non-dualistic realm, which means that there is no separation whatsoever. There is only a perfect unity or a perfect oneness. Like the Rastafarians say, one love. There's only the one love. One love includes all things. One love would mean perfect joy, perfect happiness. Now, a question which is a very good question, is, well, if God is perfect love, God is perfect, if God is happiness, God is love, and all these good things, God is oneness, how did the separation ever happen? It's a great question, but the only problem with that question is it's the ego asking the question, right? Because the egoic self that thinks it's real asks that question. So that's the problem, and that's where the trust really comes in here. You have to trust that what Jesus is saying, which is that only the ego would ask a question like that, right? If you're in the oneness, you wouldn't even ask that question. But it's still a good question from our perspective. It's a necessary question, right? If God is love, and love is all, then why does there seem to be suffering? And why does there seem to be separation in a world of separation and a universe of separation? Right? So let's read. Let's see if this lesson today helps at all. Lesson 104. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. Paragraph 1. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong as substitutes for them. Paragraph 2. Today we would remove all meaningless and self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. Paragraph 3. Therefore, we choose to have them now, and know, in choosing them in place of what we made, we but unite our will with what God wills, and recognize the same as being one. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Then lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them, and sought for only in a world of dreams. Paragraph 4. All this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before his altar, where his gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by him. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what he gives. And we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. Paragraph 5. So do we clear the way for him today by simply recognizing that his will is done already, and that joy and peace belong to us as his eternal gifts. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where he has laid them. This reminder will we bring to mind as often as we can. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. Full stop. Lesson 104. All right, so joy and peace and truth. I seek what belongs to me, but what belongs to me in truth. Remember that Jesus has a big but in the Course. He uses but a lot, the word but. As in, life is but a dream. Like, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream. Means only or just, right? Life is just a dream. Life is only a dream. So I seek but what belongs to me in truth means I seek only what belongs to me in truth. I seek just what belongs to me in truth, nothing else. I do not seek anything else. I'm not looking for anything else. but I want the peace and the joy of God. Okay, so let's read paragraph 1. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. There's the but again, right? Joy and peace are not, why does he just say idle dreams? They're not idle dreams, but he adds the but there. Today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They're not only idle dreams. You could ask, well, why is this but used? Why does Jesus have a big but? Why does Jesus like big butts or a lot of butts? Keep in mind that most of the time when Jesus quotes the Bible, he's quoting the King James Version of the Bible. I believe if we look at the King James Version of the Bible, we're going to see that use of but, which is an older, kind of like Old English, maybe Shakespearean English. So that would be the reason maybe for that but that keeps being used in the course. So today's idea continues with the thought that joy and peace are not but idle dreams. They are your right because of what you are. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. They are your right because of what you are, right? You are God's son, so they are your right. They are your birthright. They come to you from God, who cannot fail to give you what he wills. Right? So God's will is everything, right? In a sense, God's will is God. And our will is God's will, which means that we are also part and parcel of God. We are not separate. We have never been separate. And that is the atonement principle, that no separation exists between us and God. That's part of the illusion that we are waking up from. And this course is here to help us do that. Yet must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts. They are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong, as substitutes for them. So here's an idea which sometimes Jesus seems to contradict, which is that Jesus seems to say sometimes that you cannot prepare for this, right? There's no preparation, right? You're either there or you're not, right? You can't prepare the way. Prepare ye the way, right? I believe that's maybe the Gospel of John, where John the Baptist says, "Prepare ye the way," or something like that, right? And I believe maybe that actually goes back to the Hebrew Bible. But in any case, Jesus is now saying, yet there must there be a place made ready to receive his gifts. It means you have to prepare the way. You have to fulfill certain conditions in order to receive what this is. In other words, they are not welcomed gladly by a mind that has instead received the gifts it made where his belong, as substitutes for them. So we have to let go of the substitute gifts that we have, which are the things of this world. We have to let go of those things, right? We have to prepare the way by letting go of the little things of this world, and in order to receive the greater gift, right? The great gift of God. 2. Today we would remove all meaningless and self-made gifts which we have placed upon the holy altar where God's gifts belong. His are the gifts that are our own in truth. His are the gifts that we inherited before time was, and that will still be ours when time has passed into eternity. His are the gifts that are within us now, for they are timeless, and we need not wait to have them. They belong to us today. So these gifts were and are and will be, right? These gifts are eternal gifts of God. And this is all metaphorical, right? Because we're talking about a state of perfect oneness beyond all words, beyond all concepts. In our reality, or our duality, words like peace and joy and happiness and gifts are meaningful, but ultimately all of these things are just metaphors and symbols. So don't take the words that seriously, but it could be very helpful to think in these terms that, don't put any substitute gifts upon the altar, right? Accept only the gifts of God, right? Or the gift of God, which is eternal, an eternal reality. And we can have that right now. We don't have to wait. We can experience that now. We can have that joy and that peace and that happiness even now, even while we're in the dream, even in the midst of waking up from the dream. Now, if we have those things, if we experience those things now, doesn't mean that we're all the way there. We are still in the illusion. We're still in the dream, but we are not suffering, right? So in other words, we do not have to suffer in the dream. We can free ourselves from suffering, and we can remember by remembering that God is love, love is all, and that is all we need to know. That is all we need, and that's all we need to know. Paragraph 3, therefore we choose to have them now, and know, in choosing them in place of what we made, we but unite our will with what God wills, and recognize the same as being one. So our will is one with God's. We choose to have them now, and know, in choosing them in place of what we made, right? We made this world. We made suffering. We made pain and suffering. We made the illusion of separation. We made the dream. We made this dream up. We dreamed this dream. This is all a dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago, as the Grateful Dead sang in Box of Rain. So we can have them now and know. I think Jesus was doing a play on words there, because the word now is in the word know, right? K-N-O-W. K-N-O-W. K now. Right? W-K-N-O-W. Does that work? I don't know. It's the radio station. I think it's not a mistake that the word now is in the word know, right? We're talking about the eternal now and the eternal knowing, right? So we can have this now and we can know now. All right. Our longer practice periods today, the hourly 5 minutes given truth for your salvation, should begin with this. So we do 5 minutes an hour all day long. I seek but what belongs to me in truth, and joy and peace are my inheritance. Right? My inheritance, my birthright. This is my right. This is what I am. This is not just my right, but this is what I am. Then lay aside the conflicts of the world that offer other gifts and other goals made of illusions, witnessed to by them and sought for only in a world of dreams. So lay aside everything else. Let go of everything else and just stay with that one thing, right? God being love is also happiness, and I seek the joy and peace and the happiness and the love and the gift and nothing else, right? For all this we lay aside and seek instead that which is truly ours, as we ask to recognize what God has given us. We clear a holy place within our minds before his altar, where his gifts of peace and joy are welcome, and to which we come to find what has been given us by him. We come in confidence today, aware that what belongs to us in truth is what he gives. And we would wish for nothing else, for nothing else belongs to us in truth. We come in confidence, we come in faith, right? Confidence meaning faith. We come in the knowing that this is true. We clear a holy place within our minds before his altar. So this does seem to be suggesting that we do have some work to do, right? There is something that we must do, that we can do, in order to receive the gifts or the gift of God. And again, we have to let go of anything that we have made as a substitute for that. And we have to be clear that nothing in this world can bring us the joy and the peace that we really seek. And that's a big one. That's not an easy one. That's a very big one. 5. So do we clear the way for him today by simply recognizing that his will is done already and that joy and peace belong to us as his eternal gifts. So this is kind of a way, I think, of saying, you can't beat this. You have to join it because it's the reality. It's the only reality, right? This is not, it's not even a question. It's not even a, it's not like you have a choice ultimately, right? This is a required course, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts about what we're talking about here. You can either get with it now or you can wait. You can procrastinate. You can postpone your own joy. And Jesus is kind of like, be my guest. That's fine. Do that if you want. But you're being foolish. But you can do that. There's a great quotation which is, "The wise do now what the fool does later." The wise do now what the fool does later. So we don't have to be a fool, right? We can accept our birthright now, and we can know now if we want. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where he has laid them. Let's read this again. So do we clear the way for him today by simply recognizing that his will is done already and that joy and peace belong to us as his eternal gifts. We will not let ourselves lose sight of them between the times we come to seek for them where he has laid them. This reminder will we bring to mind as often as we can. I seek but what belongs to me in truth. God's gifts of joy and peace are all I want. I think what he's doing there at the end is he's recognizing that we're not ready yet. We're not all the way there. If we were all the way there, we probably wouldn't be here, right? Or we wouldn't be here. There's a lag time, right? There's a gap, right, between being all the way there and just being almost there, right? And Jesus says throughout, especially in the text, he says, you are not now wholly insane, right? You're at least on your way now, right? You're not wholly insane, but you're still insane. But we're practicing. Narrowing the gap. Little by little, we're narrowing that gap. All right. Getting there. We're getting there. Next one. God's peace and joy are mine. And then that's going to be tomorrow. On Tuesday, we're going to leave for Hawaii. I might not do one on Tuesday. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it from the airport. That's a long one, so maybe I won't do it at the airport. We'll see. So we might have a day, but I'll do a short video. If I don't do a whole lesson, I'll do a shorter video. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful for you, and we're going to continue. And lots of other stuff I'd like to do on this channel, but mainly what we're doing here is spirituality and your spiritual life, our spiritual life, dealing with what is the most essential thing, and letting that be our center, become that more and more our center by which we can navigate the rest of our lives. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you.